All right, so it is finally here. I ordered the RS-9T dual exhaust from Yoshimura over 7 months ago, shortly after I bought the bike itself, and the bike has gone through quite the transformation during that amount of time. But all of the modifications that I've made so far have been with this in mind, trying to figure out how it'll fit, how it'll work, and incorporate into everything else that I'm doing. So really excited to finally have the exhaust here in my garage and about to get it on my bike. There are a couple questions that I've got as to whether or not it will completely fit underneath the belly pan that I just installed, whether it'll fit with the G-Craft rear swing arm so that it can file up through this portion here correctly, whether or not it'll fit the TST fender eliminator kit that I have on here. I think it will in all cases, but we're about to find out. So let me get this unboxed, see exactly what it looks like, and it should be a relatively simple install, but again, the piece de resistance to this build. So this is definitely the most exciting unboxing I've done on the channel to date. There were only 98 of these made, so definitely a limited edition product, and if the quality looks anything like the demo that I saw at the Barber Small Bore event in Birmingham, it's going to really finish off this bike. So first off is a Yoshimura beanie. I've actually been skiing this season, so definitely will be using this. Whole bunch of springs. Looks like the main pipe and one of the pieces of the white pipe. The other white pipe. And then these are going to be the cans. I assume these are, for the most part, the same cans that I had on my original RS-9T, just the single model. But finally, there it is. It's got a nice matte carbon fiber finish and the small bore life logo there. And all of this is really lightweight. The entire system is titanium. And then this piece, the same, just inverted because they'll be on opposite sides of the bike. So let me start taking my belly pan off and get ready to put this onto the bike for good. Okay, so that was a relatively easy install. I didn't go into detail, but it was very easy to do, and there are only 97 other people that will be installing it, so I can't imagine all of them watch this channel. The only area that had a little bit of a challenge was getting the springs on the two white pipes, but I ended up, instead of trying to pull the springs up, which made more sense to me at first, I just hooked the first spring on, and then I was able to get this tool fished up through the swing arm and then pulled it down to lock both sides in. Anyway, other than that, everything else went together very easily. Most importantly for me, the belly pan fits perfectly. The exhaust has plenty of room of clearance both in the front and the rear, Also, it cleanly clears the G-Craft swing arm. The only area that I had a little bit of fitment issue was with the license plate mount that I have, and that's the easiest to figure out. So I can either slightly bend the license plate, I can use my bending tool to fold back the corners. I do have a Yoshimura license plate tail tighty that I could run to flip it the other way instead of having it inward. Anyway, I can worry about that one later. So let's go ahead and fire up the bike. I actually haven't fired this one up in quite a while, so I hope the battery's charged. All right, it actually sounds quieter than my other exhaust. Maybe it's because there's 2 exhaust cans, so each one is only getting half as much exhaust as it was previously. Let me angle the camera back closer to the cans. All right, so that sounded awesome. Again, the engine's cold, so I didn't want to peg it off of the rev limiter. I'm gonna go ahead and ride it around a little bit, see what it sounds like from the rider's perspective, and then once it's warmed up, I'll be able to give it some higher revs. Okay, so psyched to have this on the bike and being able to ride it again. For the license plate, I ended up just bending it a little bit on the corners, and that seems to work just fine. I don't know the legality of the visibility of it anyway, but for now it works. I don't put a lot of miles on this bike anyway, but that solved that problem. And otherwise, the installation is good to go. So I still got a lot of tweaks to do on this bike, a lot of engine modifications that I've got queued up that I really wanted to get the exhaust on first before I started working on. So stay tuned because a lot more to come on this build. So thank you everybody very much for watching. Stay tuned for more videos and keep on building.